Hey going guys, Dean here. I've got Dan with me tonight and we're going to be doing a 1750 point battle report for you. So I'll run you through my list first and then we'll go over what Dan's bringing. So I've got a battalion detachment, 2 mandatory HQs. I have a Chaos Lord and a Dark Apostle. Then in my 3 troops choices, I've got a unit of 8 Berserkers in a Rhino transport. The Berserkers all have Chain Axe and Chain Sword, and the champion in each unit has a Power Fist. This bloke, fisty. That's my 3 mandatory troops, dedicated transports for each. Then I've got 2 Helldrakes, both with Bale Flamers, 2 Predators with the Predator autocannon on the top and las cannon side sponsons, and also an Aegis defense line. Basically the idea is that Lord sits behind the defense line with the Predators and gives them rerolls of 1 to hit, and that's basically my little fire base. And then the Helldrakes go up the flanks with the Berserkers charging up the center of the table. Pretty straightforward. It comes in at 6 command points because it's a battalion detachment plus 3 for being battle forged. And yeah, that's pretty much my list. Dan, you want to run us through yours?
Alright, 1750 Spearhead detachment, the 3 heavies. Got an Autarch, just blank, so no wings. Unit of Dire Avengers with an Exarch. 2 units of Warwalkers, 1 with 2 guys, all with missile launchers. 2 Wave Serpents with the Shuriken Cannons and the Twin Shuriken Cannons, Spirit Stones and Vectored Engines. A Falcon with a Pulse Laser. And then the Big Daddy, the Eldar Scorpion Grav Tank. This thing is off its tits.
We haven't seen it in a game yet, but we've looked at its stats and it's fucking bonkers. What's it do? It's 4d6 shots.
4d6 shots, strength 12, neg 4, 3 damage, 6 to wound, 2d6 damage.
So that thing is going to fucking delete shit. So it's going to be pretty good.
And it hits on 2s.
And yeah, hits on 2s, why not? Because it's fucking Eldar. Oh, and once again, it's an invulnerable save if it moves, certain distance.
If it moves full distance and advances, it's 4 up and vulnerable. Does a normal move, it's a 5 up and vulnerable.
Yeah. So that thing's going to be putting out some serious hurt, but I think I have the tools in my list to crack it, so we'll see how we go. So we're going to set up the table, do our objective placement, mission and all that sort of stuff, and then we'll jump into deployment and be right back. Alrighty guys, so we've rolled up our mission, finished deployment. For mission we're doing cleanse and control, I believe it's called. Basically we each have 1 objective placed in our deployment zones. Deployment was Vanguard, so we've got my objective at the back here. And Dan's placed his objective, if I'm not mistaken, it's underneath this thing.
It's underneath the Scorpion.
Underneath the Scorpion. We then started deploying our units back and forth, resulting with Dan sort of bubbling up around here. He's got the Autarch in 1 Serpent and the Dire Avengers in the other. His Warwalkers, his Falcon at the back there. Pretty straightforward deployment. And then for me, I've got the 2 Predators here, the 3 Rhinos with Berserkers in them there, the 2 Helldrakes up here, and the Lord is back here out of line of sight of all of Dan's stuff. And basically I deployed my Predators first in a position where I thought he wasn't going to be able to hide the Scorpion. So that way, if I seize on him, I'm able to get a couple of shots into him. And I've also positioned the Helldrakes so that if I seize, I'm potentially going to get a turn 1 charge on it. But we'll see how I go. Speaking of seizing, let's roll seize the initiative. Oh, we'll roll a 1. So I'm going to use a command point. I'm going to re-roll that because we're not using the ITC rules. We're just doing straight rulebook. And I roll another 1. Fucking hell, this game's going to shit already. Alright, so we're going to jump into Dan's turn 1 and we'll be right back. Alright, we've just finished Dan's first turn and fuck me, it was savage. So he's popped both my Helldrakes. They're both fucking gone.
The Scorpion had 15 shots at the first Helldrake, ended up with 4 times 2d6 damage.
For every 6 to wound that it rolls, it's 2d6 damage, and he rolled 4 6s.
So I ended up doing nearly 30 damage. Yeah,
8d6 damage. So I was like, just roll those, and that was enough to kill it. So we didn't even resolve the rest of its fucking hits because it was enough to do it.
Then the Falcon and a Warwalker popped the other Helldrake.
Yep.
And I failed to do much to the other Predators, and that's pretty much GG.
Yeah, because he's significantly hurt my ability to do damage to him now, because those Helldrakes are going to fly up, try and tie him up, force him to, you know, maybe hit the Warwalkers, force them to fall back and sacrifice shooting. But my options have just been taken from me. So let's see what I can do in return. Alrighty guys, there goes the end of my first turn. So the 3 rhinos, they moved and advanced, got up the field, and then the predators fired into the war walkers and fucked them all. So the first predator shot, I decided to split my fire 3 ways amongst the 3 war walkers. So I las cannon into the first one. I was proud. It was good. So the first las cannon into the first one, then the second las cannon into the second one, and then the auto cannon into the third one. And that actually almost killed all 3 of them. Like, it dropped all of them down to significant wounds. And then the second one finished them off. So the auto cannon single shot, it single-handedly took out one of the war walkers, and then the las cannons wounded the other 2. So there was 2 left with wounds, and then the second predator finished them off. So that was my turn. The reason I chose that is because I did the maths and figured out that I wasn't going to be able to damage the scorpion enough to stop it from shooting me. Whereas if I shot at the war walkers, I could potentially kill all 3 of them, which immediately yields results. It immediately weakens the amount of firepower I have to deal with. So that was my target priority there. And now I'm hoping that he hasn't got quite enough firepower to drop everything that I'm bringing at him. So we'll see how we go, and we'll jump into Dan's turn 2. Alrighty guys, we just finished the Eldar turn 2. Dan, how did it go for you?
I killed 1 predator with 36 damage.
Yeah, this thing's a fucking scorpion. Beast. This thing is beast mode.
It is beast mode, but it only kills 1 thing a turn.
Yep.
And then I did pretty much fuck all the rest of my army.
Yeah, the rest of your army, everything fired at this 1 rhino here and did a single wound. Worth noting, I used a command reroll to save that predator, because you did fire the pulse laser at it.
Yeah, 3 damage.
So I saved 3 damage there, which I think 3 damage, that's a decent use. When you've got 6 command points and you can use it to save 3 damage, I'm happy with that.
So I'm about to be charged by some berserkers?
Maybe.
Let's see how we go.
We'll see how we go. Alrighty, there we have the end of my turn 2. So the rhinos moved up. The berserkers here disembarked, and then their rhino moved around the side there. And the berserkers then attacked the falcon. Before that, the predator fired all of his guns and took like 6 wounds off the falcon. No, 5 wounds off the falcon.
5, yep.
And then the berserkers multi-charged both the wave serpent and the falcon, and managed to finish the falcon off. I needed a 9-inch charge, and I rolled an 8, so I busted a command point to re-roll one of those dice, and that got me the charge. So those command points are crucial for an assault army, just to re-roll those charge range. And yeah, so that was pretty much my turn. Berserkers killed it right on the nose, so I did exactly the amount of wounds needed to kill it. So there was no overkill there. But yeah, we'll jump into Dan's turn 3. Here we have the end of the Eldar turn 2. Scorpion moved up this way. Both the serpents moved to get away from the berserkers. The Avengers and the Autarch moved around the corner there. Basically, he dedicated all of his shooting into the unit of berserkers at the front here and wiped them out to only 3 men standing. The Scorpion blew up the Rhino that a second unit of berserkers was in. And then that Rhino exploded, but I used a command point to re-roll the explosion because I didn't want it blowing up everything that was around him. And then he used his Serpent Shields to take out the remaining 3 berserkers from that unit and 3 more guys out of that. So, pretty successful turn for the Eldar, I'd say.
Not bad. Not successful, but not bad.
Yeah, you're not calling it successful?
No.
Did you not succeed in killing shit?
Things died, yes, but I'm not excited yet.
You're not excited yet? He's reserved. I must have a trick up my sleeve that even I don't know about, that Dan knows about. Alright guys, we'll get into my next turn and we'll be right back.
4?
Yep. So that was the end of my turn 3. So we had the Berserkers made another 9-inch charge into the, Wave Serpent here. This Rhino is still full of Berserkers, it just advanced up the field, and this one with the Apostle in it also advanced up, just trying to get behind this so I'm where that objective is. The Predator fired everything it had into this Wave Serpent and took like 6 or 7 wounds off of it.
Fuckloads.
Because he busted his Serpent Shield trying to take me out, it reduced his defense. And then when the Berserkers charged it, they managed to finish it off. He then rolled a 6 and exploded. and he decided to keep the explodes result because he thought it'd be more beneficial for him because I had some vulnerable units. We killed 2 berserkers with the explosion.
2 dire avengers and 3 wounds.
2 dire avengers, and then 3 wounds on his autark. So that's dead. So you can get that the fuck out of here. But now we're going to jump into Dan's turn, and he's still got some serious shooting on the table. So we'll see what happens. We have the end of Dan's turn 4. So the Scorpion and the Wave Serpent moved over this way. Scorpion fired and blew up a Rhino, and the Berserkers piled out. The Serpent then fired into the Berserkers and killed one guy. The Autark and the Avengers just moved around the corner here, and it charged the Rhino and took 2 wounds off of that. So that pretty much summarizes Dan's turn 4. We're going to jump into my turn 4, and we'll be right back. Guys, here we have the end of my turn 4. So the Berserkers came over here. They disembarked from their Rhino. Actually, they were already disembarked because their Rhino exploded. This Rhino that was in combat fell back, which then allowed the Berserkers that were over here to fall through the gap and charge into the unit. The Dark Apostle disembarked, and he charged in as well. And combined, that was enough to completely wipe out the Autark and the unit with the Exarch in it. In shooting, my Predator moved up onto the little cliff here. He's just teetering on the edge there. But he's still within range of the Lord to get the rerolls to 1 to hit. And he managed to do 9 wounds to this Wave Serpent, which was really fucking good. And the Lord has just hidden around in the corner so that no matter where Dan moves in his next turn, he can't target that Lord. And then wherever he moves, I'll just move in the appropriate direction to continue to hide. So, yeah, that's the end of turn 4. We'll jump into Dan's turn 5 and see how we go. Alrighty, here we have the end of my turn 5. So because everything was in combat over here, the Predator couldn't shoot, didn't move. And in combat, the Berserkers went first, obviously, and allocated all of their attacks on the Wave Serpent, which managed to kill it. And luckily for me, it did not explode, which has now meant we're at the end of turn 5, and I have 2 Berserkers within range of that objective, so I hold that, and I obviously hold that one over there. So Dan's going to roll again.
3 up, it continues.
On a 3+, we get another turn. Oh, we got one more turn. What can you do to me, Dan? Let's have a look. Alright, so we've got a super eventful turn 6 for the Eldar. He's just moved his
So I've
Scorpion.
fallen back.
You've fallen back out of the combat there.
I can't shoot, I can't do anything else. I'm playing the super low probabilities. I have the slightest chance that this game goes into turn 7, and then I can vape some shit. But as it is, I'm pretty fucked, and I'm probably going to lose this game.
Alright, we'll jump into my turn 6 to see what I do. Alright, here we have the end of my turn 6. So the Predator fired into the Scorpion now that it's out in the open, and I managed to do 8 wounds to it. So I fucking highly rate Predators. They've done really good work in this game. And then I moved my Apostle and the Berserkers here so that all 4 of them are within 3 inches of that objective marker, or within the center of that objective marker, so he needs to kill literally everything to get me off of it. And I've also positioned my unit in a way that he can't target the Apostle, because the Apostle has to be the closest model, so no matter where he moves his Scorpion, he's going to have to shoot the Berserkers first.
On a 4-up game continues.
So, yep, it's my turn now. And I still have 1 command point in the fucking bank as well. So, let's see. 4 up, the game continues. This game's going to continue, so I'm going to use a command point, because fuck it, why not? When in Rome. And it's game over. It's a good game, Dan. And, yeah, so what's your thoughts, Dan? How do you feel that game went?
I think it was a really fun game. I think I've got 1 really good unit in my army that fucking fucks shit up, but the rest of the army wasn't too flash. And Berserkers in Rhinos are awesome.
I think one of the downsides to taking a super unit like that is you give your opponent a really obvious thing to just ignore. You know, you give them that one big thing and they know that the rest of their army is going to fuck the rest of your army.
Against an army where the opponent takes lots of big guys, I'll do really well.
Yeah.
Where there's spam of multiple units, I won't do so well.
Yeah, well that thing was overkill. Every single thing you shot, you did about 20 to 30 wounds to. So, massive overkill. Whereas, in a meta where there's more knights and other super heavies like that, I think
you'll do. Knights, I'm going to have a very, very butthurt opponent.
Yeah, you are. Especially if you get first turn. You fuck, dead knight, suck a dick. As always, I'm really happy with the way the Berserkers worked out. They're really fucking savage in combat. You only need to get 2 or 3 of them into combat, and they do work. And always, since you can take wounds from wherever you want now, you always keep your champions alive till the end. Always give your Berserker champions a Power Fist, because they get to attack twice with it, so you get double the investment out of that special weapon. Having the Lord over here, this list worked really well because I had the Lord with the 2 Predators, so he's giving them rerolls, which Dan was doing a similar thing with his Autarch, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I think that one came down to, there was a lot of luck on my side, and then there was also, I think I made the right choice just ignoring the super heavy.
Well, the move of the game was killing the 3 Warwalkers in one turn. Instead of trying to shoot at him, you ignored him and you just killed the Warwalkers.
Yeah, whereas
which would have put a serious dent in the Rhino's advance.
Yeah. And those Rhinos, I mean, you only need 3 Rhinos full of Berserkers, and that's enough, as you can see, to get into the enemy's lines and still have some Berserkers left at the end of turn 6. When you're faced with, you know, significant firepower. Like, your army, all it does is shoot.
Yeah.
There's no infantry, there's no fucking tax, there's no fluff units, there's no fucking shit. It's all just fucking firepower. And the Berserker Rhinos managed to get through, so that's a good testament to them. Helldrakes were obviously, it's hard to say. Like, I'd like to say they were lackluster because they didn't contribute.
Well, they died.
But at the same time, like, they didn't get a chance to shine. So an argument could be made that something like a Predator might have been better because it would have given you a less obvious target. But at the same time, I think that was good because that allowed my Predators to have free range.
Given we're practicing a tournament list for Preferred Enemy, which is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
You'd want to keep those Helldrakes in because they will do good work.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And as always, chuck your comments below with what you want to see in our next battle report, and I will do my best to make sure that we get it included. So whether it be a different Chaos unit that you want to see, whether it be a different opponent's army, because I've got a lot of mates with a lot of different armies. Dan himself has got fucking like 6 different factions. So we've got Astra Militarum, we've got Sisters of Battle, we've got all kinds of shit. So whatever you guys want to see in the next battle report, let me know. And thanks for tuning in.
All races in the galaxy worship their own chosen deity in one way or another. Whether it be through perceived righteousness or misplaced zeal, through building monuments and temples to destroying those of opposing gods. However, intentionally or not, the entire galaxy worships our God through the